I could use a good massage right now. Hey everyone, welcome to Prince the Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Fight, Zatoichi Fight. This is the next Zatoichi movie, and it's been a few months since we did the Zatoichi week. So if you remember, the last time we did any Zatoichi films, it was an entire week full of them. And as I said, we were going to take a break, get to other stuff, and we'd eventually come back. Well, we're back. We're back with Zatoichi, and yeah, we're here with the 8th film, I believe. Fight, Zatoichi Fight is an interesting title because Zatoichi is a character, or Ichi rather, who doesn't like to fight when he can help it. He only does so when he has no real choice, whether when enacting in self-defense or defense of others. Most of the time he tries to stay out of conflict. There have been some occasions where he's let his emotions get the better of him, but for the most part he's able to restrain himself. The title makes this sound like he's not only going to have to fight, but that it's going to be a big deal that he does. And so I'm very interested to see how that goes down. I don't know exactly what to expect here. I don't know how this is going to continue to tie into things, because some of these have had some continuity, but for the most part they're their own thing. You can watch these movies in any order. We're just going in the release order, of course. But yeah, I'm very, very interested to see how this continues. And maybe eventually we'll get some more direct continuity than ever before. I don't know, it's always possible. We shall see. But for the time being, sorry about the lighting. It's just the time of day I'm recording this, per usual. Not really something I can help at the moment. It's getting later and later into the year, and it's like the sun is going down earlier, and so it's like the times I have available to record, it's like there's going to be interference from this. Even if I had the curtains closed at the moment, there would still be light popping through. There's not really a way for me to fix it with, the setup of everything here. I mostly gotta just hope for, cloudy days. But, so I apologize for that. I also want to say real quick, if I seem a little out of it, if I seem a little, like, not doing well, I'm recording this on Wednesday, the day after Election Day. That should tell you everything you need to know. My mental state has not been in the best place. And although, I'm recording this after I recorded OKKO and Don for Wednesday. So my mood's in a little bit of a better place than it was before that. But yeah, it's not great. And so if that affects my reaction, I do apologize. But I wanted to make sure I kept getting these recorded so I can get them out and everything, and I didn't end up pushing back anything with the schedule. I didn't want to do that to you guys. But yeah, let's just get this going, see what Fight Zatoichi Fight has in store for us, and why he has to fight. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions, with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And don't forget about the gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every single day. We have Horizon Forbidden West every Monday and Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays is Life is Strange Double Exposure. And Wednesdays and Sundays is Beyond Two Souls. On Saturdays, we have both Poppy Playtime and Nier Automata. And on top of that, don't forget to click the link in the description below to get to today's reaction. I redirect everything just due to copyright, you know how it is. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. Thank you so much for tuning in, and for now, let's get to today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Will Ichi ever have a happy ending? Like, every movie pretty much ends with him, like, either not being able to get with this girl he likes, things happening and he has to go along this lonely road again, or in this case, you know, having to leave behind this baby that he grew really attached to. And a woman. And it's just like, these movies always end on such a sad note. And it's like, I understand, like, the reasoning behind the monk here. Saying that, like, oh, you're a former Yakuza. You're a wanderer. All these people are after you. This baby won't be able to, like, be safe. And even if it does survive, he could end up growing up to be, you know, not in the best place himself. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily true. There's a lot more nuance to that. It's like the possibility does exist. The baby could end up growing up to be in this kind of position too, and it could cause a lot of problems. And Ichi, caring about the boy as much as he does, would never want to put him in that position. So it makes sense, like, logically and for his character, and especially for how he was shown to be in this film with the boy. But it's still, like, just another sad ending. Excuse me. And I do just wonder if, like, we are ever going to get an ending that is just happy. I don't know, it just feels like this series is, like, almost out to get him every time. Just like the people who come after him. So, this one was not my favorite of the Zatoichi series. It wasn't the worst. You know how bad this can get from, like, my previous reactions and my thoughts on those. But, this was... I would put it in the lower half of the movies, though, at this point. I do believe this one is weaker. And a lot of that comes down to the lack of plot and character relationships. Compared to other Zatoichi films, the character dynamics in this one felt very forced, I guess is just the best way to put it. This woman, what was her name? Oko or something like that? It feels entirely random that she's traveling with him and helping take care of this baby. It doesn't feel like it was properly built up to. It doesn't feel like it was properly set up that she would be traveling with him and helping him with this and falling in love with the baby herself. It feels like it was just thrown in there just to have that side of things, that aspect that you have seen in previous Zatoichi films. It feels so, like, rushed is the wrong word, but just ill-handled, I would say. It just wasn't, there wasn't enough time in the movie to build up to it, and I feel like it needed more of that. On top of that, you kind of have two villains of this group. You have the group of assassins who are after him, after Ichi the entire time, and you see throughout the film they keep coming after him, keep fighting him, and their numbers keep whittling down. And then you have Inosuke, who is the kind of final main villain. who is the father of the kid, the husband of the late Atoye, and is kind of like the goal point of this entire film. This is who Ichi is trying to get the baby back to, and then ends up, he's just a piece of shit who was just trying to get rid of his wife anyways, and probably thought she wouldn't have survived in the first place. Fuck him. And then he just continues to prove, like, over and over again how terrible he is. And yeah, I mean, I can't say he didn't deserve to die in the end. He definitely did. But yeah. The villains in this also felt very weak. Inosuke, you don't see anything of until the end, and you don't even really learn anything about him either. All you know is he's the boy's father. That's it. And then at the end, he's just kind of like, oh, by the way, this guy's an asshole. Where did that come from? Why is this being thrown in? It feels like a plot point, a plot line that was completely irrelevant to the rest of the film, and was thrown in just for the sake of Ichi having a bad time at the end. It genuinely feels like it was in there just to torture Ichi. It's like, do the creators of this film series, like, want him to suffer? The assassins after him during most of this, I forgot their names. It did say that they had, like, a name for their group. I just don't remember what it was. You see this in a lot of the Zatoichi films where there's this group of people after him. They don't stand out even amongst these other groups. And I'm not talking, like, compared to, like, the big Yakuza gangs and stuff. I'm talking about these, like, little assassin groups that come after him every now and again. Like, even amongst them, like, this one was just kind of weak and just pathetic. They really felt like a waste of time. Then you have the just story itself. It's like, it's just Ichi taking a baby from one place to another and having to deal with being attacked all along the way. It's a super simplistic story that has a lot of potential, but I feel like it doesn't capitalize on it as much as it should. Because my issue is that the obvious point of this was to show Ichi's empathy, to show his empathy, his kindness, his caring parental nature, right? I think we can all agree on that. And we got that in here. We got the idea that he is, again, kind, empathetic, caring, this guy who would make a great father. But that's all this movie was. There was no nuance to it. There was no depth to it. They tried to add a tiny little bit in close to the end where he's like, oh, I don't even like babies. I'm just doing this because I feel like I owe it. And you know he's lying the entire time. But it's like, it felt entirely out of nowhere for him to say that, even as a lie and everything. And then they never did anything with it again. It was just a random moment where it felt like they were trying to fake nuance rather than actual, like, well-written, well-handled stuff thrown in. And that's kind of disappointing. Because like I said, the movie was excessively simple. Ichi accidentally gets this woman killed in his place. He takes the baby, he starts traveling. Stops in a place, gets attacked, keeps traveling. Stops in a place, gets attacked, keeps traveling. It's so formulaic. And that's not inherently bad. It depends on how it's done. It depends on how interesting all these different places he would stop are. How cool all of these fights are. None of these fights stand out. None of the fights in this movie are that impressive. The only reason that the final fight stands out to any degree is because of the fire. That's unique and definitely different compared to other fights we've had in this series. But they don't do enough with it. And the fight itself is honestly kind of boring. It's not that great of a choreographed fight. Especially compared to other ones we've had in this series. And the locations that we visit along the way, such as the gambling house and everything, None of them stand out at all. None of them are memorable. None of them are interesting. It's it feels like it feels incomplete. I think that's the best way to describe it. This movie feels like it needed at least 20 more minutes. And it was like an hour and a half as it was. But it feels incomplete. It feels like there's more we're supposed to have gotten. It feels like every place we stopped along the way should have had a lot more to it, both in terms of character and writing and everything. We should have had more time to explore these locations and understand them. We should have had more time to build up these character dynamics. And I say at least 20 minutes, but possibly more. And that's another one of the big problems of this movie, is that there's a lot of it that was just kind of boring. Not much of anything happening. And it felt like some of it was just kind of like really drawing out certain scenes. Like it felt like what a lot of people feel One Piece is. You know how a lot of people say One Piece is way too drawn out, how certain scenes and stuff are way too drawn out and things like that, but I've never agreed with that. This feels like what those people must be feeling towards One Piece. And again, I've never felt this with One Piece. I think One Piece's pacing is fine. But I'm feeling that with this movie. There are certain scenes that are so, like, unnaturally elongated. And it makes the movie feel like there's nothing going on at times. And that time could have been spent to actually, building up these locations and character dynamics and stuff. That would have been so much better. That could have helped a lot without adding in, like, too much more to the runtime. That could have helped a lot. If they cut out a lot of those long, dragging scenes, or not necessarily cut them out, but cut them down, and replace that time with stuff that was, actually kind of important. And again, I'm not saying this is a bad movie. It's definitely not the worst of the series. It's just not as great. It's not like the heights of what this could be. The potential is exceptionally there. There is so much great potential for this. It could have been one of the best, but it just missed the mark, in my opinion. I love a lot of the concepts in it, though. I really love the concept of Ichi kind of becoming a father figure for this boy and finding out that he actually just really would love to be a father because he just adores children. Like, I love that idea. I just wish there was more to it. I wish that it was given more attention and time it deserved here. And that's saying something because, like, the entire movie was predicated around that, but you know what I mean. Like, I wish there was more given to the dynamic and the nuance of it all. But overall, even though it's not the best film, I still had fun at times, and it was still definitely worth checking out. That being said, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this entry in the Zatoichi film series? What did you think of the inclusion of the baby part of the storyline and all the different fights Ichi had to get into throughout this? Let me know how this compares to the other films so far for you. Obviously, no spoilers, but let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you to Venom, as always, for donating for the Zatoichi series. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.